Hey everyone, it's Norm here from IMCARS, and today we have a special guest to tell some automotive stories over your, 40 years in the automotive industry?
Well, a little bit longer than that. It's more like 50 years.
50 years, so obviously a character from our channel. This is my dad, David, and he's got 50 plus years of automotive experience, and I have compiled a few notes over the last few days of some interesting stories that I think our viewers would like to hear. So maybe we'll start with, we'll go back to the Baker Nissan days. And I guess there was some events that happened on opening day. And we have some photos, which you can flick through to refresh your memory if you need.
It was the grand opening of it was a relocation of the existing business that we already owned, which was Baker Nissan. And that was in Penticton, British Columbia. And we had a grand opening of the new facility. And as Norman says, we got a few photos, which prompts a few events that may have happened at about that time. One of which, the most notable one, is this particular event had been advertised on television throughout the Okanagan Valley for a period of about a month. It was well known that on the grand opening day, the special guest of that day was going to be the president of Nissan. And so that was distributed throughout the Okanagan Valley on television to all the people that wanted to watch the commercials. And sure enough, everything went as we had planned on that day. The president turned up with other dignitaries from Nissan. And during the grand opening cutting of the ribbon affair, a black 280Z, which was the sports car of the day for Nissan, drove into the parking yard right in front of where everything was going on, pulled up, and there was a big banner right across the side of the car, which really was, a lady was the owner of the car, and she was telling everybody about how the Nissan cars had a real rust problem. This didn't go down very well, as you can imagine, with the president being put on the spot and all the other people from Nissan, or Nissan, by the way, we were pronounced it.
Datsun?
Well, it was just at the transition from Datsun to Nissan. And in fact, the Western Zone manager, I can't remember his name, but he's on some of the photographs, was dispatched from the group to deal with this lady. And the end result was that if she went away quietly, the Nissan Automobile Company actually repaired her car, repainted it, and gave her virtually a refurbished vehicle. So I guess to a certain degree, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So that's one event that happened at that time, on that day.
And so at the same time, I know we had some commercials that you did for Baker Nissan. Was that before this, after this?
The commercials that we did, and we have some recent ones that you put onto took from the old 8-track, I think it was, or the filming of the day, and you turn them into, so they can be put onto computer screen. They were done after the grand opening in that new building. We had a spokesperson who became somewhat of a friend because he lived in Penticton, was Andy Moog. And Andy did, if you like, he did quite a bit of TV ads for us. He did, in those days, we did a lot of newspaper advertising. And when he was in town, he would come down to the dealership on a Saturday and he'd usually bring half a dozen goalie sticks with him. And people knew if they had children, if they went down to our dealership on a Saturday, if Andy was in, he'd give them a goalie stick and sign it for them.
Who's got the fastest growing Nissan dealership in the Okanagan? Who's got the newest, most modern dealership in the BC interior? Who's always ready to beat any deal on the full line of Nissan products? The answer is Baker Nissan in Penticton. Hi, I'm Andy Moog, inviting you to visit the winning team at Baker Nissan. In less than 3 years, they've grown to become the place to get your new Nissan car or truck. Visit the new showroom today and tell them Andy sent you.
Baker Nissan, 2504 Skaha Lake Road, Penticton.
Who's got the fastest growing Nissan dealership in the Okanagan? Who's got the newest, most modern dealership in the BC interior? Who's always ready to beat any deal on the full line of Nissan products? The answer is Baker Nissan in Penticton.
Now for a limited time, Baker Nissan is giving away a trip to Hawaii with every remaining new 87 or brand new 88 Nissan. Return airfare from the Okanagan with your new Baker Nissan.
Visit the new showroom today and tell them Andy sent you.
Baker Nissan, Skaha Lake Road, Penticton.
Yes, Andy did quite a bit of advertising for us. One particular humorous story I recall during one of the TV spots that he was doing for us. He was in the showroom and was doing his little pitch that was prepared for him. And at that time, he was playing for the Edmonton Oilers and was also on the, I believe, the Canadian hockey team for the Olympics that year. He was also rumored and heavily being courted by other hockey teams in the NHL. And one of his favored teams that he wanted to go and play for, he didn't end up playing for, but wanted to play for, was actually the Vancouver Canucks. And during the film, we played a trick on Andy Moog. He was there in the showroom and he was doing his speech, and we had the phone ring in the sales manager's office, and the sales manager came in. "Excuse me, Mr. Moog, Mr. Quinn is on the phone for you." Anyway, Andy went red and he thought that this was his moment, that he was going to be traded to the Vancouver Canucks. Well, in fact, it was just us playing a trick on Andy Moog. And I don't know whether he ever forgave me for it, but he did come around after that, so I presume he did. Mr. Quinn was not on the phone, and Andy did not go to the Vancouver Canucks. I believe he ended up in, not Dallas, but he ended up, and he's still there today, but not playing. He's in the back office.
Yeah, he worked for Dallas Stars for a few years.
Did he play for the Dallas Stars as well? Yeah. Anyway, so that's my little story about Andy Moog.
And that's
very nice gentleman, by the way.
That's one of the few stories that I actually have not heard until this day. So that's a new one for me. And also, I go down to Penticton a few times a year for track days and whatnot. And every time I take a picture of Penticton Nissan, and I think you messed up. We should have kept it.
Yeah, well, there's a different story. I've got the old Nissan before we moved into there. I've got photographs of that. We bought out one of the very original dealers for Nissan, which was Datsun, in Canada, and it was Robbie's Datsun. And Norman has a photograph there of Robbie's Datsun prior to the sign being changed to Baker Nissan. And I remember when the sign was being changed, Robbie himself, who would have been about 90 years old, came down and said to me, "Mr. Baker, you're making a mistake pulling my name down." Anyway, that's just another little story and a quirk from that era.
So that is a little history on Baker Nissan, and we got some more stories we're going to be telling here on the channel. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, check out some of our other videos that you see up here right now, and we'll see you on the next one.